Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Let me just get myself over onto the camera a bit more. There we go. Slide that green screen over. Welcome to the stream. And right, before we get too far into this, well, Luke can carry on playing. Can I get a quick AV check? We are live on Twitch, Mixer, and Steam. Welcome to everybody. I've got chats from everybody, so ask questions as we go. If you can just give me a quick look at what the quality of the stream's like. ECM2 says, greetings Luke and Matt, AV is good. EC says, Twitch AV is good. Moggy is completely losing the plot, so everything is good there.
I thought we killed that.
All good here, says Shadow X. Excellent. Right, good. In which case. So we're running a scenario called Metropolitan, which is on rapid transit with the ever glorious Talent 2, the BR442 in Germany. One thing you might want to do is knock off the cab light. Makes the lighting look a bit better in the cab.
There's a bit of a rainy day at the moment.
That's fine. Oops, that kitty.
Yeah, okay.
Moggy says, stream quality good, driving quality not so good. Harsh, Moggy. You haven't even moved the train yet.
Yeah, you save that comment for about half an hour down the line.
Will Luke PZB today? No, Luke is still learning PZB. Peach Luke.
What's PZB?
What's PZB? There you go.
Actually. Maybe people talk about it a lot, but
Let's call it stream goal. Let's call it a stream goal that Luke will be streaming a nice complex scenario by Jan Chudoba or the likes.
as long as I don't get too hypnotised by the Vipers.
But yes, the intention is Luke will be driving with PZB at some point in the future. He will.
Right, challenge accepted.
Oh yeah, he will.
Right, how are we doing? 30 seconds.
The other thing you could do is knock the screens into nighttime mode. I find the contrast just a bit more pleasing on the eyes. Top right button. No. Top right button of the middle console. Up, 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 left. That's it. No, maybe left one then. No, just one button. Not all of them. No, that turned it off.
Right,
That's it.
Oh, that's the one. Right, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, much better.
Right, now we need to close doors.
Rob says, Matt, you have 4 weeks to train Luke for PZB and complete a Jan scenario with a positive score. I haven't even finished a Jan scenario with a positive score yet. I'd like to thank you for the positive confidence you have on Luke that you don't have on me, apparently. Quite rightly.
Where did I get all this confidence from? It's like people have never seen me drive before.
Rylar says, use the force, Luke. I'm gonna make a bet that you've never heard that one.
You know what? It's completely new on me, that one.
According to this, the stream ended on Steam.
Oh, did it? Oh. Yeah, looks like we're having technical difficulties on Steam again. But on the subject of Steam, the Steam Summer Sale is still on, but it's only on until Thursday. So, not much longer left. So if anyone has Train Sim World or Train Simulator or any of the DLCs on their wish lists, need to hurry up and get one or two of them before the Steam Summer Sale ends on Thursday.
Yep. Major Sunscreen, what platform are you chaps on today? We are running on the PC. We've got a capture card in here now, so we can make it be easier for us to stream the consoles. But at the moment, we're running on PC. Will TS will be getting an Xbox One enhanced patch? I've got no information on that one to share at the moment, BBIJ. keep an eye on the usual platforms for finding out information as it comes out. Steam is working, it just stopped. So if you refresh that, it should come back up. Techno Sim Russ, are you planning to make scenarios for 143 and double stop for owners of Rapid Transit and was ignored? At this point, again, I don't have anything to announce on that one. But that would be cool, wouldn't it? I'd totally hear what you're asking for there. I really like the Talent too. It looks sleek. It's fast. Fast enough for me anyway. Anything faster than this and I just, well, bad things happen.
Ooh.
1 mile to go.
I just got myself an achievement.
Break.
You know, I was thinking about it.
Thinking about it. As long as you're thinking about it, that's good enough. Yeah, I'm going to get him to switch over to kilometres once we stop at the platform. I thought I would avoid, travelling along 100 miles an hour and say, by the way, let's go into the menu. Because that's just a bit mean. 100 yards. We might need all the brakes.
Yeah, you know what? The platform's long enough. Make people walk a bit. There we go.
Screech! There you go. Close enough.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
It's fine. It's fine. Right, press escape. And go into settings. Change the measurement units, which you've just scrolled off of. That one. Right, needs to be in metric.
This is just to make it a bit more tricky on yourself because I have no idea when it comes to kilometres.
G. Cook Scotland. Tempted to buy Woodhead Electric on Steam sale, but read that schedules are impossible. I don't know what you mean by schedules are impossible. I'm not aware of any issues, but perhaps other viewers across the platforms can shed any light on that. We will show some of the images, or the images that we showed last week. Where we are on Friday for Rosig North. We are going to just show them again today. We've got no new images to share, I'm afraid, but we will show the ones so that everyone is up to date. Oh wow, we did it again. Oh, this is... (10:50:30) is when our departure time is.
Yep, 10 seconds, 9.
Green doesn't always mean go. Green means you can go, but we've got a departure time we're waiting for. John Jewell on Mixer.
And off we go. I know I've had my doors closed all this time, but you know what? I don't think that really matters, does it?
Do a wheelie, says Animal Star. Can you do a wheelie? We almost did something else coming into the station.
Yeah, we almost did an endo.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
BMX tat. Solon FR PS4 version is coming out July 24th. And there's also a couple of articles on the trainsimworld.com website which talk about things like the upgrade process. So if you've got Xbox One Train Sim World Founders Edition, then all the pricing information is on there now, so that you can find out what it's going to cost you to get the full version on July 24th.
Sound of my engine sounded very different just then. Yeah, Martin is trying to get our attention on Slack. I thought I killed this before we started, but apparently it's still alive.
What's Martin want on Slack?
He's trying to get you to read your message.
No. What message?
I missed it.
That was successful. Let me jump on Slack, Martin. Hang on. Please announce. The Steam stream is dropping and immediately restarting occasionally. So if you're watching on Steam and the broadcast appears to end, can you please just refresh the page? It does come back up. If you're on a mobile, I'm watching it on here just to see if it comes through okay. There is a refresh button you can just tap and then that just works. See? It does work. When is West Somerset expected to be on console, says Stonehouse on Mixer. We don't have a date for it yet. It is coming to consoles, I can say that much for sure, as is Raw Seek North, but we don't have dates for them as yet.
Could we just point out to Martin that every time he messages us on Slack, it blocks my speedo?
Oh, I can feel the trolling coming.
I can feel it too, because I think we're about to miss the station.
Oh dear. You need 10, go to 10.
I'm going to blame Martin.
Oh dear.
I don't know how fast we're going. Ah. Yeah, missed it.
I think we need to stop and start again on this one. So, yeah, you're not going to get
missed it by a long shot. See, I blame Martin. That's all his fault.
Oh dear.
We're allowed to back it up a bit. How many points will I lose by doing that?
You can back it up, but don't let the front of the train go past the signal. Because I don't know if you'll get past the signal yet. Brakes are still coming off. Right, now go back to 0 and back into 1 again. There you go, brakes come off. And moving.
Right, there we go. Yep, indeed, fail. Oh, and apparently we got seen as well.
Driver and all passengers in that train are laughing at you.
Yep. As well as everyone on the stream.
Try that.
Well, it seems to have accepted that, so.
Good. Yeah, the Talent's got good brakes. The braking was just left a little bit late. We're going to blame that one squarely on the end drive for that one. Whether the driver onwards to blame onto other people or not.
Yeah. The driver's going to blame it on Martin for distracting him. Right, apparently we've got to lock the doors because we're running late.
Jortal 1059.
Alright, here we go. less than 3 minutes to do 4.5 miles. We can make the time.
Blue Lantern says, guy on the left, hi. Not sure
Who's on
which
the left?
one.
Is that me?
I don't know. I'm on the left here, but I think Luke is on the left for you.
On the camera, yeah, I'm on the left. So
let's both say hi. Hi!
Hi!
No, don't tell Luke to give it the beans, EC.
I'm already giving it the
Be
beans.
very careful how many beans he gives it.
It's not the beans that's the problem, it's the stopping again.
Yeah, it's the anti-beans.
Yeah. But you know what? This is what happens when you don't practice beforehand.
Live is always best. Fails is what people are here for.
Well, I thought they had enough of that from you, didn't they?
Ouch.
Like, always wanting more.
Oh, burn. Kim the Tier-Mon Mixer. This game is called Train Sim World. It's available on Xbox One as Train Sim World Founders Edition. And it's available on PC on Steam as Train Sim World CSX Heavy Haul. The full retail release comes out on July 24th, although you can buy those other versions now, and then there's an upgrade plan that gets you to the July version when it comes out.
Guess who, once again, wasn't paying attention? It's the kilometres an hour, you know, and that's what's throwing me off. I have no idea how fast we're going. Missed. Okay, I don't think we're going to make up the time after all. Somehow.
You know what? This is really easy though. You know, when you're doing a stream, when you're trying to talk to people, it is just so easy. It's difficult to get it wrong like this.
Well,
throw Matt out with a chain attached as an anchor. Thanks, Baked Bean Kid.
See, what I was actually thinking at the time was, when you mentioned the game being available on Xbox, is that earlier on today I threw out some social posts on Twitter and Facebook telling people that they can actually pre-order for the PlayStation 4 right now. So yeah, if you have a look on our tweets on Facebook and Twitter, it gives you all the details of the pricings and where you can pre-order it from and how. And at the same time, we also threw out some social media posts about the Xbox, how to upgrade, how to pre-order it if you haven't got the Xbox Founders Edition already.
Yeah.
And so yeah, they're all on our social medias, the Facebook and Twitter. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, if you haven't signed up for the, if you're on Facebook and Twitter and you haven't followed us there, then it's well worth doing so. So you get all of the latest news and information, because it's pretty much always announced there first, I think. And then also make sure you're signed up on the Train Sim World website with a Dovetail Live account, yeah, that way you can join in with the discussion forums and get the news there as well. All the new articles get posted up there on a fairly regular basis. He did already say the silly metric units threw him off, Eddie. Beat you to that one. DBIAJ upgrading to the Digital Deluxe Edition on Xbox One day one. Nice.
Alright, here we go. You know what? I'm actually going to focus on this next one. I am going to stop in time for the next one, promise you.
I've got 4.8 kilometres to do it.
And yeah, about 2.5 minutes to do 4.5 kilometres. How far is 4.5 kilometres? It's no good, I'm used to everything in miles.
Link Skywalker. When you play TS World, you always drive with the HUD off, and it was a pain just to drive this DLC. You had to make a note on your phone with all the kilometre posts along the route, just to be sure to stop in the right place with the middle braking session. But now you've found them, it's way better. It is, if you can get to where you can practice the route and learn where and learn the road. This is a real thing they do on the railways. Learn the road to where you can drive without the HUD. Then you're doing it. You know, you're doing it pro level. That's you know the ultimate aim. If you can get to without the HUD, and it does feel really good when you can get to that point. Major sunscreen, slightly technical question. Why do most scenery things display flawlessly and mighty prettily, but some other details pop in at various ranges? Managed to change it with the view distance scale, but some insider knowledge would be interesting. That one is... So it's down to lodding, and it's generally down to performance scaling. The R. View distance scale is a bit of a brute force kludge. Essentially, what it does is it will take all the view distances and multiply them by the value that you've set in that field. So if something is set to pop in at 1 kilometre away, if you set the view distance scale to 2, it will pop in 2 kilometres away. If you set it to 10, it will pop in at 10 kilometres away. So it is it's a way of effectively forcing the distances out. Trying to come up with some more. So different scenery assets will have different draw distances. Sometimes it'll be down to the complexity of them. Anything that's got transparencies on it, generally you don't want to render it too far out, because the further out things get from the viewpoint, from where you are, the more of these things there are overlapping. And alpha layers, by alpha layers I mean transparencies. So if all of the trees are overlapping on each other, anything that's got these transparencies, the more there is overlapping, the more it's got to work out, trying to work out what the color is, or what the visibility of each pixel through all this stuff that's tiny in the distance. So it's really about measuring that. Now, have we got it right in all cases? I don't know. This is be good to get feedback from people such as yourself when you're playing the game. If you're looking at it and you say, "Wow, that popped in," just put up a forum post, raise a support ticket, say something to us, and then we can evaluate it. I'm not going to guarantee that there's going to be a fix for it or an improvement for it, but if you don't tell us, then we don't know the answers. We don't know what you're thinking. So, and I definitely want to hear what you're thinking. So, but that's generally the reason for POP. When we do lodding on assets, so lodding is a technique called level of detail. What that means is that as an asset gets further away, you get a simpler version of the asset. So the further away it is, the simpler the version that the asset is. And the lodding is done, I think on rail vehicles, I think we have up to 6 complete level of detail meshes. So that's simpler textures, simpler meshes as it gets further and further away. I mean, you can go from, I don't know, 250,000 tries on the nearest one down to like 50,000 just on the next one out, because it's so much smaller. Even just at that short distance, you lose a lot, which means that you can put more of these things on the screen at once, which is obviously what we want to do. And there's no point rendering detail you can't see. So that's the trick. And LODs work at their best when you don't even see the difference. Now, one thing Unreal does really, really nicely is in some games, when you zoom in, like on a sniper scope, or you press the mouse wheel up and down and you zoom, what you see is that it takes the distant view version of it. So that model you're looking at is 1 kilometre away, and it brings it closer to you because of zoom, which now means you can see the really awful low detail LOD version that you're never supposed to see up close. And now you can see it kind of up close, and it doesn't look great. Unreal's got this really clever way that it's actually less about how far something is away and more about how much space is it taking on the screen. So if an object is really close but it's only a tiny object, then it gets the appropriate level of detail treatment. If it's a massive object that's a long way away, it might need more detail, and so Unreal automatically copes with that. So essentially what you do is you say this LOD is for when it's only taking up this much on the screen, which is pretty cool. But it also means that when you zoom in with a mouse So if you zoom in with the mouse there, so if you do something like this, what it does is it will auto scale, which means that when you look in with these, that it will auto load the things back down to high detail ones again. So you don't have this problem that you see in some games. Now I know that some people think that that seems to mean that we're not doing lodding, so I can definitely confirm it's doing lodding. And Unreal got this quite clever way of keeping the image looking sharp by bringing the good LODs up in front of you. But I hope that's kind of gone to some of the detail of what's going on there, Major Sunscreen. Bottom line is, it's lodding, it's about getting performance up, and if you think you've got it wrong anywhere, tell us.
It's a little bit of overspeed there, not bad. But yeah, there was actually a discussion on the Steam forum earlier on. Someone was talking about the load screen that you get when you're teleporting the camera from the back of the train to the front of it again. And that's all about level of details, isn't it?
So the load screen, actually, when you move to the back of the train to the front of the train, is actually down to the fact that it's probably, in a short train like this, you probably won't ever see it. But let's say, for example, you're playing CS6 Heavy Haul, or you're playing Great Western and you've got one of the freight trains. What it probably means is that the front of the train is no longer streamed in. So what's happening is that, so from where your camera is at the moment, the front of the train is unloaded from memory. It's not even there anymore. It conceptually knows where the train should be, but it's not there. The map tile that it's on is not there. So when you press the 1 key, it then has to load that data. Now there's a threshold set that if it's more than a very small amount, it kicks you back, pauses it, kicks you back to a loading screen. And then it will load everything in and then put you back in the game when everything's loaded. So that's kind of why you get that. It's effectively you're moving back up to a completely, it's got to load a load of extra data off the disk and put you back in the front there. So that's kind of why you get a loading screen sometimes when you go back to front of trains, if the train is long and you're doing that. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Good. If you have a better GPU, do you get fewer loading screens on trains? Not really. GPU won't help you on loading screens. Maybe a fast SSD might help you. Moggy would just like to announce that his fish has been eaten. Baked Bean Kid said, total gibberish. That was what I was aiming for, Baked Bean Kid, to be honest. All these people that say they're understanding it, actually what they're doing is they're faking it.
Actually, I do understand it. I've had a background myself in 3D, so I kind of understand what you're talking about on the technical point of view.
Good.
But yeah, I can see where someone who hasn't got a background in 3D would not have understood a word you just said. Yeah.
Ferromero, yes, I can see the Twitch chat. I'm looking at Mixer, Twitch, and I'm looking at Steam. There's not a lot of chat on Steam. I must admit, I run the game with on my machine at home. I run it on just a standard drive, and it loads pretty quickly. So it may be worth defragmenting as well. But obviously, if you've got an SSD, don't defragment it.
So the speed limit here is 120 kilometers an hour. What's that in miles an hour?
Less.
Less?
Actually, it's about exactly the same.
Ah.
Different number, but same speed. See you later, Major Sunscreen. 75 miles an hour, says Max Dream Trains.
Ah. Well, it doesn't matter.
Well, you
Anyway,
need
because
to
I'm
be
speeding
stopping
again.
quickly. You need to stop.
800
metres away.
I'm too used to that being in miles. And
Assured Splash 37 on Mixer. We are on the PC in the office.
yeah, we're in the Dovetail streaming cupboard.
Yep, we're in the Dovetail streaming cupboard. You think we're joking?
There's really not a lot of room in here.
Nicely done.
Yeah, I'm getting the hang of this now.
Yeah, just takes practice.
That one.
Link Skywalker, what would you say is the biggest advantage of having made this game with the Unreal Engine? So Unreal Engine offers a ton of features and so forth, but the fact that it supports the console out the box, now that doesn't mean it's just click a different button, you get a console game, far from it. But it's a world away from starting the game again, essentially, which is how it always used to have to be done. The material and lighting system in Unreal is exceptionally good. What else is there? The development system in Blueprint is very powerful. I've not got a great deal of experience with other engines, so it's difficult for me to sort of comment in terms of whether it is an advantage based on other engines. But certainly, some of the things we've benefited from, I'd say, having that material system is stunning, and the editor itself is amazing. The editor itself can do an awful lot, and we've expanded and added an awful lot of stuff to that editor. So. BBIAJ, how do you find us on Mixer? Mixer.com/TrainSimWorld. Fermero, you loaded up TSW the other day. The game was running a solid 30 FPS, which it usually doesn't. You tried everything, but still 30 FPS. Then you noticed your resolution was different from normal. Switched it back, and now you've got a solid 60 FPS. Yep, resolution can have an impact. It's all down to your hardware. Because at 60 FPS, a lower resolution, you're going to shift a lot less data around, which can then mean the FPS. You'll find that if you lower the resolution again, you might get no benefit at all. So it's about finding the right resolution for your hardware and matching that up with the kind of environment you want to, what sort of FPS you want to get. I must admit, I kind of like driving at 60 FPS now, and I set the rest of the settings to sort of make it balance out around 60 FPS. You find it quite surprising how good this engine handles train-based games. Some of that is down to an extensive amount of work that the engineers here have done to make it add some extra stuff. But, Shift V. It's 50% screen sound, yeah. So there is a lot of work that the team here have done in order to make the Unreal Engine do train sims better. I mean, we have made quite a lot of core changes to the Unreal Engine as well as finding lots of things that we can do with it. But it does do a really good job. One of the big challenges when we were looking around at different game engines was world streaming, because most game levels, you're looking at a maximum of 20 kilometers square in a lot of cases for a big level. Now 20 kilometers square for a train simulator is nothing. We want to do 60 kilometers wide, to start with. And a lot of game engines couldn't cope with that. Now some of them can do it now that couldn't do it previously, but certainly when we were looking around to make Train Sim World, pretty much nobody could do it. Unreal had an experimental technology for world composition and streaming, and they were the closest to being able to do it. And that was one of the decisions that helped us decide on Unreal, along with some of the other benefits like the console and so forth. Completely forgot where I was going with that. Oh, yeah, so when you're driving along, what you want to be able to do is just have it seamlessly go between all of these different tiles. So a tile is about 1 kilometer square, and you want it loading them in. You want it loading them in quickly, transparently behind the scenes. So the challenge there is that in a lot of traditional games, like a platformer game, an Unreal Engine is fundamentally built around being a platformer game. It can do a lot more than that now, but that's where its heritage is. A lot of that would be based around going to an elevator or a lift and then while the lift is moving you it's actually unloading the old level and loading a new level in. Well, we can't do that. You're under 300 kilometers an hour down the line, and I don't want it pausing.
Speaking of 300 kilometers down the line.
Yeah, these stations are all really close together. You're stopped with something in the platform, you'll be alright. Assured Splash. So since CS6 Heavy Haul won't be on Xbox One, is the new DLC a replacement? I'm not sure I get what you're asking, Assured Splash. So what's happening on Xbox One is currently Great West. We've got $1. Currently on Xbox One, you've got the Founders Edition, which is Great Western Express. When the new version launches, the game screen will update so that you get a couple of options, and you can click to upgrade to the digital edition or the digital deluxe edition. If you pick that, and it'll upgrade you. And then what it'll do is it'll just add some extra content to your game. So the UI will change in a small way. You'll get the rapid transit route, which is this one. You'll get the northeast corridor. I'm being blamed by Moggy. Come on, seriously. You'll get, and if you buy the digital deluxe edition, you also then get the GP40. Is there a date of year for release of the editor, TW33? I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's got a 2 at the front of the year. I don't have any more information than that, Steam Lee. If I did, I would tell you. Trust me, I would tell you. I'm desperate to tell you more information on that, but I can't at the moment. Because there's no point me giving you information that might be wrong. Assured Splash, so the DLCs will be free? No, it's an upgrade thing. So if you've got Founders Edition, there's an upgrade price that gets you the full version. I think it's $9.99 in the UK. I can't remember what the prices are for the other territories. If you go onto trainsimworld.com, there's a website which gives you the details. Sorry, I just see there's a website that gives you the details. It's trainsimworld.com, and there's an article on there so that you can read all about what the upgrade process is. Making an editor out of an editor is hard. Let's face it. Yes and no. The editor itself is actually really solid. Excuse me. The editor itself is really solid, but it's everything around the editor that's a challenge. There's the DLC. Do you mean on Xbox BBA, AJ? If so, yes, I believe there's new achievements for the NEC and Rapid Transit. The pricing microcar. So if you go to the link that Martin just posted there on the live.dovetailgames.com website, that one will take you through the process, including the pricing. Ferramiro, come on, where's PZB and Sifa? It will come. It's Luke's first time playing with German trains.
Practice mode, as evidenced by all the stations we missed.
SimTrain Tube, can you tell us if third-party developers like Just Trains, for example, are working on DLCs yet, or do they have to wait for the editor? They'll have to wait for the editor. They'll probably get the editor before first. Partners that we're working with, or will be working with, we're going to be talking to them probably first, get them on board. We'll have more news about it as and when. Yeah, it's not long now till July 24th.
I think I stopped a little early for that one. Just a little bit.
I'm going to see. Feel there's no smooth crossing with a shadow. Every time you reach a certain point, the shadow of the object kind of pops off. So how the level of distance and how the shading particularly. So there's an ambient occlusion distance. There's also the distance the sleepers lod out. We're constantly trying to work out how we improve that. Maybe try and push it out a bit further, and also keep the frame rate up. Loops of Konowitz, which is the final station, if I recall. Ooh. Eska, planning to include the train from Rapid Transit to Rossignol as AI trains. We've got nothing to announce on that at the moment. I definitely want to do something like that, but it's not quite as straightforward as you might hope it would be. Yeah, it's definitely on my list to look at. Bear with me is all I'll say on that one. When I've got news on that, we'll let you know. There we go. This is the one station you really shouldn't overdo.
Yeah, because there's a red light right after it.
The game takes red lights quite seriously.
It does. Alright, so we were only 1 minute late. Wasn't too bad.
That's not bad at all, actually.
Sort of managed to catch up towards the end there after the chaos at the start.
Yeah, hashtag blame mine, totally.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now I've got to go out in the rain.
Out of order.
Yeah.
Ah, look at all them ticks!
So that wasn't too bad.
Oh, round of applause
Yeah.
there. Nicely done.
Lost a minute there. But otherwise, that wasn't too bad.
I don't think any of those fails actually ever happened, personally. They didn't happen. And I'm going to delete the video later on just to prove it.
Alright, so, shall we talk a little bit about Ruzig?
Let's talk about Raw Zeeg. So, we put this screenshot up last week sometime. So this is the BR185.2 that comes with the Raw Zeeg line. Hang on a minute. Alright, I'm just...
So is this
There we go.
Devstream stopped again?
Yeah, so the Raw Zeeg North line runs from Hagen in Germany to Finnentrop in Germany, funnily enough. And it's a very heavy freight route. It's got passenger stations on it, and I'll get onto the stock for that shortly. But this is quite a heavy freight route. It's actually got a really interesting look and feel to this route because it's quite worn down. Parts of it are being renovated, so it's a real contrast. As you go down the line, you'll see brand new sleepers next to really old sleepers, next to not quite so old sleepers, stations that are all being ripped apart and all sorts of states of being maintained. So, and some stations which are absolutely brand new, and some stations which are really old. So it's just there's a real feel to this route as you go down it. So this loco is the BR185.2. This is Deutsche Bahn freight locomotive. You can see some of the shims coil carriers behind it, and which is one of the wagons that comes with it. And one of the things I really like about this image is that you can see the old Railion logo, which is left and hasn't been bleached by the sun. Then you've got this one, just another shot of the BR185.2. This time it's a little bit more foggy, you can start to get a bit more of a feel for the sort of the general tone that some of the route is going to take. You can see the way that the building behind it looks a lot more run down, and just generally get a feel for it. This was a new screenshot we showed on Friday. So this is the Doppelstock coaching stock that will serve as your passenger trains, and these will be hauled by a BR143 electric loco, which I don't have a screenshot of. It's not ready to be shown yet. But you'll be able to drive from the cab car, or you'll be able to drive from the loco, and when you're doing the services and scenarios. So it's really good. You'll be able to go into the coach. You'll be able to go upstairs. AI will be both. And yeah, it is. Those that are saying it looks really nice, it is stunning. I was really glad we were able to get these on to show you guys, because they are the team working on these just looks amazing. And then lastly, the team wanted to show this screenshot, sort of showing some of the new sleepers and new clips, so the new track infrastructure, which is distinctly German. So this is concrete sleeper ties, but they're slightly older and worn ones. So they've got sort of an older feel. Some other places in the route they'll be bright, shiny white. They'll look really out of place, but that's what brand new sleepers look like. You've got the autumn scene in the background with the way the trees are and the sun showing through there. And there's a lot of trees on this route. This is a very forested route, and there's logging industries along the route as well, which is cool. So let me just run through these one more time, so just so we can see them. The 185.2, the German freight loco, This is the same loco again. This is the Doppelstock cab car, and you can see the actual coach behind it as well. And you will be able to go in and go upstairs as well if you want to. And then this is the scene from the route itself. We wanted to show off the beautiful scenery, Matt, not just the sleepers, but all the sleepers. The sleepers are all I care about, though. So that's all I'm showing. Everyone, look at the sleepers, okay? And the clips. You need to look at the clips. The clips are amazing. Okay, go on, look at the scenery too then. Trees. Right, are we loading?
We are loading. Right, and we are in.
God, look at the timing of that! It's almost like it was planned. Trust me, it wasn't. We don't do planning.
Alright, so guys, this is the Woodhead Woodhead Electric route in blue. This won the vote for today. We put that up earlier on this morning. You could have voted between this route, the Munich to... I forgot what the other two routes were. Yeah, there was a German route and American route. Munich, Leeds,
and the was the extension route, wasn't it?
Yes, Salt Lake City
Salt Lake
extension
City
route.
extension. There you go.
Yes, and yeah, everyone voted for Woodhead in blue. So here we are. We're going to try and mix up the vote for the next stream because a lot of people are complaining that we're getting lots and lots of British routes. So yeah, we'll try and mix it up next time around. So yeah, we are currently playing the second scenario. This is 2 Hotel 78 from Hadfield to Manchester Piccadilly. And we are driving a Class 506.
Excellent.
So good afternoon, driver. This afternoon we're taking a Class 506 to Manchester Piccadilly for Glossop. Today's run should be relatively easy despite the pouring rain. Start by setting the headlights, taillights and destination display. Once you're happy, allow passengers to board. Alrighty. Where are we? Yep. That was pretty spectacular, really.
It's lovely. It's a lovely, lovely unit. Must admit, when we were doing this route, little tip, you notice how that wiper is doing you absolutely no good whatsoever. Press the left arrow. I think it's the left arrow.
Left arrow? Ah.
Stand up.
Well, that makes things easier. Signal screen for us now.
The loady things to finish. You might need to hit sand as you're departing because it's raining and this loco's got quite an advanced wheel slip simulation, so keep an eye on your on the speed reported on the speedometer.
What's the hotkey for the sander again?
X.
X. Fingers crossed nobody noticed that I set off before the car presses buzzer. Oh, I see, we're going downhill.
Roar out of the station, straight downhill. Ron Keefe on Steam says, what was the first game you were playing? That was Train Sim World. So we're playing Train Sim 18 now. It's Train Sim World we were playing at the beginning of the stream. that'll do. Not too quiet. Right, you've got 15 limit coming up.
No.
You're not collected into the game.
Ah, that'll be why. I was wondering, why isn't it doing anything? Oh. Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Round a corner on 2 wheels. You paint this train orange and put Confederate flag on the top. Big 1 on the side.
Yeah, only minus 1,500 points. And full stop. This went well. This went very well today.
What do you mean you thought I was driving for a second? Does my reputation precede me? Yes, of course it does. I know it does.
So what do you think, guys? Glod after a negative 1,500?
Oh, I think we're just within grasp of Glod, I think. Well, this is marked as a hard scenario, to be fair. This is not an easy scenario, so this is why Luke chose it.
On the plus side, you know, getting the whole expectations out of the way as soon as possible, you know, kind of relieves the pressure a little bit. Yeah, speeding again, yay!
For those of you that are just joining us, I'm Matt. I'm the senior producer for Train Sim World. This is Luke, community manager for Train Sim.
Hey guys.
You'll notice this is Train Sim Luke. You'll notice recognise his name from the forums and other community sites.
Have I annoyed enough people yet to be recognised?
Mr. Schmo, does the Xbox version support the Thrustmaster flight stick? No. Just the Xbox controller. You see, he's confused. It's the fine line between famous and infamous.
Mm.
Oh, Luke has been thoroughly dropped in the deep end.
Absolutely. We're just coming up to the first station. I'm still getting used to driving this thing. Maybe I should have practiced beforehand.
Cool SG67231 on Mixer. What is this game? This game is Train Simulator 2018, and it's available on PC. We also showed Train Sim World, which is available on Xbox One and PC.
Stopping way too early.
It's alright. I've already got his Uber for the buffers on order.
Yeah, that'll do. There we go. Negative 1,564 points.
Genius.
Do you think we can claw it back from there?
I think it's either the Glod is within grasp. There was a time I was playing on my own stream, and I was driving a German train. And it was the ICE train, so it was a fast train. And I was doing 160 kilometres an hour. and I didn't really understand quite what was going on with the German signals. This was a few years back. What the German signalling actually told me was me doing 60 kilometers an hour at the next signal. So I went through the next signal doing 160 kilometers an hour, and by the time I realised, it's fairly safe to say I had lost about 100,000 points.
Yeah, that one. Sorry, only now I'm realising I was running with the wrong marker weights.
Liquid Solids on Steam. How long did it take you to develop the game? So Train Sim 2018 was first released in 2009, and I think that was after a good 3 or so, maybe 4 years of development. I'm kind of guessing roughly of development on that, and then it's been evolved and developed since 2009. So if you compare what came out in 2009 to what the current version is, it's a world apart. And then separately, you've got Train Sim World, which we launched on PC last year in March. And then that was in development for a good 3 years, I think, before that as well. So it takes a long time to make these games. Dave M84, the mixer is mixer.com/TrainSimWorld. You will slip. It's the trick, because now you can't hear the motors. Sharky, is this a promotional thing for the game? So we want to show everybody the game. There's a lot of people who haven't even heard of it, haven't seen it, and we just like playing it, basically. So yeah, it's give people a chance to see some content as well, so you can see what there is. There's a lot of content, particularly for Train Sim 2018, and the different content. It's not driving a train is not just driving a train. There's lots of different experiences, whether it's high speed or commuter or freight, passenger shunting, mountain passes. There's lots of different types of experience, and so by doing these streams, we're showing the content off, and you can have a look at it and see what actually appeals to you. Yeah, there's lots of different styles, as I say. So we try and show off some different types each time. There's content from different countries as well. Passenger shunting, Baked Bean Kid. Yeah, come down to a preserve railway and I'll demonstrate it to you. Sharky, so our trains a hobby for you, or do you have a job to do with trains? So I'm a senior producer for Train Sim World, and Luke is community manager for Train Simulation at Dovetail Games. So we both work here at Dovetail Games. We're part of the team that makes the games. And but these are also our hobbies as well. I mean, I've personally been playing train simulators since 2001, and I've had a general rail enthusiasm since you know that big. Thanks to my dad. So I've got a model railway. Oh, my dad's got a model railway, and I try and operate that most weekends. Go out train spotting with my son. He's a mad keen train spotter. So, lots of interest in trains, not just with us two, but also around the company.
Yeah, I've got my own model railway at home. I model in N-gauge.
Have you ever worked on the railway? I haven't.
I haven't. I applied once to be a signaller. That didn't exactly work out for me. But...
I know plenty of people who work on the railway. Does that count? I once did work while travelling on a train. So does that count as working on the railway? I'm stretching here, but... Frozen Dude on Steam. Speaking of transporting, I missed what model you're running right now. So this is a Class 506 EMU on the Woodhead line. Retroactive, can you drive Canadian Pacific trains? So there is indeed a route called the Canadian Mountain Passes, which comes with Canadian Pacific ES44AC. That's about it, I think, for Canadian Pacific. There is, I think, some Canadian National stock as well that you can get hold of. So there isn't a huge amount to choose from at the moment in Canada. But there are some bits. And Canadian Mountain Passes is really beautiful, actually. It's a huge route. It runs from... I can't remember the name of the place. The lake over near Kicking Horse Pass. Down Kicking Horse Pass to Golden. Then back up the other side across the... my brain's failing me. Over to Revelstoke, essentially. So it's Rogers Pass retroactive, that's the one. So it gives you effectively all the way from east of the Kicking Horse Pass, down the Kicking Horse Pass, back up over that gorgeous bridge and eventually into Revelstoke. So it's one of the longest routes on the game. It also comes with the unique grain grain cars that Canadian Pacific operate as well. Yeah, there's a big tunnel on the Rogers Pass, isn't there, on the western side, retroactive, and then you've got the two spiral tunnels on the Kicking Horse Pass. Those are always good fun. Retroactive, can you derail in the game too? Indeed. In fact, take that example again with the Canadian Pacific route. If you're managing, a 100-car train coming down the Kicking Horse Pass, you can run out of air in the air system if you're not careful. If you then you hit the corners, then yeah, it'll come off the tracks. Crashing is not what this game is about. So pretty much as soon as the game you come off the tracks, the game ends. So you're not going to see big explosions or anything like that. The game just ends when it crashes. But yes, if you drive badly, the game will end essentially. How are we doing? 3/4 of a mile.
More or less just starting to pick up speed. Getting used to driving this thing now. Just as we're starting to speed up, it's time to slow down again.
Welcome to everyone who's, if you've only just joined us. We started the stream out looking at Train Sim World, and now we're playing Train Simulator 2018. And we also showed some screenshots from the upcoming Rossig North line coming to Train Sim World soon. So at the moment we're running the Woodhead Electric in blue, set around the 1980s. Currently driving a Class 506 EMU passenger train. Old school stuff this is.
Currently driving it too slowly. Well, you know, we're only slightly late. Not a problem.
Mr. Schmo, we generally research lots and lots and lots of different things. Researching historical stuff is a lot more difficult. But I don't know if we particularly looked at that route exactly, but I know I personally looked into all sorts of routes around the Chicago area because it's such a key, iconic area in American railroading. Very confused. So Train Sim 2018 has trains up to and including the maglev at about 500 kilometers an hour or something. It's got the ICE, the Intercity Express trains in Germany, which go up to 300 kilometers an hour. You've got the Javelin Class 395s in the UK, which are 140 miles an hour. So yeah, there's a decent selection of high-speed trains. Train Sim World, the fastest train in that at the moment is the HST, 125 miles an hour. Other train lines across the world are in only a few select regions, Sharky. So it's different regions. So routes are individually constructed. So Train Sim 2018 has been out the longest, as I said earlier. It's been out since 2009. So it's had a lot of new content released for it. There's a lot of routes that are available. So that one includes content from the US, UK, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, France. It's got China, there's some Japanese, there's South Africa, Canada. There's stuff from all over the world. But Train Sim World at the moment is US, UK, Germany. But in time, I expect that to expand as well. There's nothing from Ireland yet. No, Sharky, there isn't. I know I'd quite like to see the Enterprise line or something like that, but no. Or the Lewis, even, if you want to go silly with trams. No, there's no Irish content, not on Steam. I don't know whether the community may have made some, but certainly no on Steam. None from India either, Busted. But although there is a community-made route for the Darjeeling and Himalayas, which isn't India, I think, but it's in a similar area. No, I'm not aware of any Indian add-ons. Train Spotter, is anything from Poland? You're all picking countries that are up there. No, not that I'm aware of. There might be, but not that I'm aware of. I'm not really deeply involved in a lot of the in some of the communities, mostly because I don't speak the language, so it's difficult. Microcast. So the upgrade from Founders Edition to Deluxe Edition is £14.39. Yes, the $9.99 is for the standard digital edition. First of all, so the version that's available on the 24th is a bundled version of what's out now. So if you want it now, there is the Steam Summer Sale. Now is a great time to pick up some Train Sim World content now. And then what will happen is your UI will get upgraded to the version. We only ever run one game, so it's like TS 2018 has evolved. And if you bought TS 2016, then you got all of the code changes were updated as it went, without you having to buy new stuff. If you wanted the new routes, you had to buy the new routes. And the same is looking currently like how we're going to do it on TS World. So where you currently buy Train Sim World CSX Heavy Haul, and then later on that will be Train Sim World. Although you won't get any new routes and things, you can buy those ones if you want them. Why does Luke have a microphone growing out of his ear? We try not to mention it publicly.
I'm very sensitive about it.
Yeah, it's when we do this.
Yeah.
Rob, you're still having problems running a second copy. Let me dig out the instructions that I wrote for partners and I'll send them over, Rob. Base tag, what's the objective of the game? Is there a story mode? There isn't. So the objective of the game is to drive trains, complete missions. It's more about just enjoying the experience of driving games. It's a simulator. There is a career mode insofar as you get points, XP for driving trains, but there isn't any reward particularly for doing that other than a warm fuzzy feeling. So that's really it. You get, as each new DLC comes out, it comes with a selection of scenarios. You can then play those scenarios. Then there's a quick drive mode, so you can play anything you like. TS 2018 actually comes with all the editing tools built in as well. So at any point, you can hit Control E, be in the editor, make any changes you want, press play, and carry on driving again. Bino Bot, thanks for that. Good to hear. Just left. No, we're going to Godley to Newton.
Going to Newton now,
yeah. DJ Dylan FM, when will Train Sim World be on PS4? July 24th. You can pre-order it now on the Sony store, both in the normal edition and the digital deluxe edition. And you can, or you can just hang on until July 24th.
Henry Z on Mixer is asking how long we've been playing for. About 1 hour 25 minutes.
Or 18 years, depending on what version of your question is. That's an interesting question, Jamaica. Can you tell us something about the process involved in developing your routes? Do you drive the routes a few times or do you look at them through Google Maps? How long does it take for a new route from idea to release, like the Royal Zieg North, for example? I actually don't have any numbers for the timings off the top of my head, but in terms of process, there's a lot of time spent looking at Google Earth, planning and so forth. there's usually in fact, there's almost always a research trip where one or two of the team will go out, sometimes more. They'll fly out to wherever the route is, and they'll go up and down the route, riding as a passenger, taking thousands and thousands of pictures. We've also we're starting to use 360 cameras now, so as well as taking normal sort of DSLR type cameras, we'll also take a 360 camera and take 360 shots of various things, because it's really good for getting context for what's going on, particularly if you're trying to understand what's going on inside a passenger coach, for example. So yeah, I mean, the pictures we take, things like we'd stand on the platform, look directly down and take a picture square on of the platform surface, or look at the wall and take pictures of walls so that we can get a good idea of what the bricks are, because there's lots of little details change around a route. So what are the types of bricks used, and if there's a particular brick company in a particular area, it may well be that you find that the colour of the bricks changes because where the materials used for the bricks, who makes them changes them as they go down the route. So sometimes that stuff needs to be taken into account. There's all sorts of things that that the team try and take into account when they're looking. So they then come back and they've got 10,000 photographs they've taken on the survey. That's then all sorted and organised, and then the process really begins of starting to get the track, plan it by putting markers down in Google Earth, pulling those into the environment, into the editor, getting the track down, and then starting the teams off on making the scenery. Meanwhile, another team has been looking up, trying to find manuals for the trains that we're doing, finding videos, cab ride videos and things. YouTube is a huge, useful resource for just seeing what other people can see, and just really trying to find out as much as we can. And in some cases, trying to find out who else can help us. So finding engineers or drivers who will who actually can help us with specific answers. So yeah, there's a lot going on to make a route. In terms of timescale, it's a few months for a team of, I would estimate probably 2 to 4 man years, but that's of a team of 20 people. Broadly speaking, it takes a long time to make these routes. These are 1-to-1 scale replicas of the real world. This doesn't happen quickly. Hopefully that answers your question. Link Skywalker, if may add at the previously answered question, is there a legal process to get the right to expose a licensed company on the game? Yes, there is. So just like any other property, and a license and copyright, the logo on the side of a train or even a building, if you want to feature that, if you want to copy that and put it in the game, then you have to talk to that person, get permission to do that. And what that process is varies from company to company. Normally it involves assigning a license, effectively. Sometimes there's other things involved, but at the minimum, essentially, what you're looking for is to get permission to do that. Genosaurus Rex, why don't the passengers walk on and off the train? That's how this simulator was designed back in 2009. Train Sim World, they do walk on and off the train. Gladiator, do steam engines need to fill up with water? Yes. And coal. Unless they don't use water and coal and they use oil, in which case they need to fill up with oil. If you put water in an oil firing engine, it's just, well, actually water's probably alright for an oil firing engine, I think, but you don't want to put coal in there. That doesn't end well. How real compared to an actual train? Reasonably. This is an entertainment product. It's not a simulator we would suggest anyone would learn to drive an actual train on, but it is. It gives you a good representation of the experience of driving a train, so you can feel the weight of the train and the sort of the principal challenges, like how you actually manage the brakes and so forth. A lot of the control systems are modelled on the real things. The safety systems are modelled on the real things. So It's pretty close. Glad you. Do you get out and fill it yourself? In TS18, no, because you can't get out of the train. In TS World, there are no steam engines yet, but refueling diesels, which is what's in at the moment, you do get out and you operate the hose pipes and so forth. Busted Buddha, can you show us around the cabin? Sorry, yes, we can. So when you stop this, you're gonna. It's a full 3D model cabin, Busted Buddha. I think Luke is just concentrating.
Trying to catch up with the timetable. I've been going too slowly so far. Let's open the doors.
You mentioned one-to-one. Does that apply to interior parts and components? Insofar as it's possible, yes. That's certainly the intention, is to be as realistic as possible. But in terms of, does every button work? Does every switch work? Does every light work? It's not always possible to figure things out, or sometimes a lot of that detail is based on stuff that either just generally doesn't happen, or we're not clear what that is. So that's approximated sometimes. Base tag. So your comment that was removed says, so once you complete an objective in the game, what's your reward? Do you get money to upgrade your train? And can you customize trains, color, style, etc.? No, actually, this is something that is different to most games, because in the real world, as a driver, you don't own the train, so you can't customize it. You're given a train to drive and you drive it. So each scenario, you've got a train to drive and you drive it. So you don't really own anything. There is no money in the game as such. The XP points that you earn are really more for bragging rights. Hope that makes sense. I don't know what game that's referring to, Revenant Fallout. All we have on Xbox One is Train Sim World Founders Edition. DJ Dylan FM, you play TS World, the HST will not stop. Have you gone into the other cab and released its brake? Because if you have, then the train will never stop. The way that HST's brakes work is that the brakes are based on which one's the most released. So if one of the ends is released, then it doesn't matter what the other one would do. You can't apply the brakes. So make sure that you always put the other end on full apply, even if you are wanting to release the brakes, because it will manage the train for you. But it's based on your end should be one you control. The other end must always be on full apply. That's normally what causes that problem.
I'm falling so far back on the timetable here. Minus 4,100 points. I mean, talk about throwing me in at the deep end. I'm really struggling with the wheel slip on the wet rails here.
Gladiate TS World basically is that update. So updating this so that it can support getting out and interacting with external details is not practical. But TS World is rethinking about the game to the point that you can press the E key and get out and walk around the train and interact with things externally as well as internally. That is what TS World, one of its main differences to TS1.
That brake squeal.
Thanks, Ollie. Appreciate that.
Just lost another 4,000 points there for the timeliness bonus. The biggest timeliness bonus I've ever seen. Unfortunately, I had a negative on the front of it.
Big Seth, so there is an update coming out July 24th, which will add some Northeast Corridor and Rapid Transit, the Leipzig S-Bahn, to Train Sim World on Xbox One. How many different kinds of weather in the game? So you've got rain, you've got snow. TS1 doesn't really simulate wind particularly, and you've got all the different seasons. So you can drive in a blizzard with white on the ground, for example. Train Sim World has the same, but it also then in windy conditions you can see the trees blowing around. Yeah, there's railroad crossings in TS 2018. There aren't yet in TS World. In TS18 there's railroad crossings and the gates will close down and the cars will stop. Revenant Fallout, would you ever like your product to be a learning tool like a lot of games are made for? So this is not made at all to be a learning tool. This is meant to be an entertainment product. When you've got a product like this that's built, it's built first and foremost to be entertaining and fun. And the simulation bit is very strong, but it comes in second place to entertainment and fun. Whereas if it was a learning tool, entertainment and fun doesn't figure into it at all, and it's all about the simulation characteristics of it. It also takes a lot longer to create much smaller things, and that to some extent is already happening in Train Sim World. You're finding that the routes are shorter. Because there's so much more detail and accuracy in simulation going on. So the simulation's been dialed right up in Train Sim World, but that's had a knock-on effect. So these are entertainment products. They're not there for learning to drive a train. And so there are, the solutions that people buy for doing that cost millions of pounds. So this is not that product. This is for you to enjoy driving trains at home. Yes, nice stop, Luke, everyone's saying.
Mm-hmm. To be honest, I thought I was going to miss.
Base tag, how about Thunder? So we have got a representation of Thunder in TS1. It's a special thing that's done in some scenarios. It's not a common thing in the game. So you'll find that I think the Sherman Hill, Pacific Surfliner, I can't remember what other ones do. I think Western Lines of Scotland might, where there's some fairly evil weather. There's one scenario where I tweaked the weather for the release on Western Lines of Scotland, where in the space of a 30-minute scenario, you go from a bright day with a few clouds to what score? There is no score.
You guys don't want to see the score. You really don't. Oh no.
Yeah, so it goes all the way in. It's a short splash, so there is fog in this scenario, in this particular one I'm talking about, in that it draws the distance right in. It's absolutely horrendous. And then by the time you make it to Stranraer, the weather starts pulling back out again, and it's just a drizzle. It's pretty awesome, actually, too. It's a very short experience where you get some quite extreme weather. Would you ever make a sim tool for learning assistance in the future? I'd say it's not a priority, Revenant Fallout. I'd say it's not a priority. Our priority is you. You. And people that want to live the experience of driving a train at home. Whether it's on your PC or your console. That's what we're here for.
Martin would also like us to give it a shout out for following all the stream channels and our Twitter and Facebook.
Yes, definitely. Make sure if you haven't already clicked follow on whichever channels you're watching us on, do so. And then go up and hit us up on our Twitter and Facebook. And as I said earlier, go over to trainsimworld.com and sign up on there. Get yourself a Dovetail Live account. Make sure that you're all signed up for the newsletter. That way you make sure you get all the latest news as and when the news is there to be had. Chris Rogers, is your Space Invaders game ready yet for the loading screens? No, not yet, Chris. That'll be coming out when the year begins with a 2 as well. Possibly when it begins with a 3. Coming into Ashbury's.
Well behind schedule, but coming in there anyway. And again, nobody wants to see the score. No, they really don't want to see it. I'm going to get the prize for the worst score ever.
No. No, Ed, do tell the chat, and I will relay for everyone who's not on Twitch. Do tell the chat about your incident. Because that's possibly one of the worst scores I've ever heard of. And I'm not taking excuses. Like, it was in development. How was I supposed to know it wouldn't work? You know. What's the points now? Oh, we haven't made it to 20,000 yet.
We will by the next stop. Next stop's the last one as well, Manchester Piccadilly.
Manchester Piccadilly, 1.5 miles. So Ed says, minus 252,000 due to the brakes taking an hour to come off. Although apparently one of the QA testers got minus 718,000 on one of the G2 scenarios. So, it's nearly a positive score.
Don't think I've done that bad. I blame it on the weather. No, in fact, I blame it on Martin.
Yeah, it's all Martin's fault. Where's the blame Martin emote, Martin? That's what we need. Chris, how do you put gradient profiles in routes? So when you lay track, you can say, then this next bit of track, lay it on a 1 in 40, and then you lay that, and then you say the next bit of track's a 1 in 20, and you lay that, and the next bit of track a 1 in 80, and you lay that. It's literally like that. The other thing you can do, although we don't really do it so much here, is you can pick bits of track and move it up and down, sort of bend the track up like that, but then it's not really very precise in terms of working out what gradients are. coming into Manchester Piccadilly. I love this route. It is such a nice route. It's got really nice feel to it, captures the feel nicely. Have you tried the passenger view? There you go. Beautiful passenger view. Trying to see if he'll crash into the buffers.
Well, I was nearly speeding, which caught me by surprise. In fact, I'm probably about to be speeding as well. 15 zone coming up.
Content roadmap for TSW founders on Xbox One. So the only information I've got on that Revenant Fallout is July 24th is when Rapid Transit and Northeast Corridor New York will become available as part of the Train Sim World retail release, which you can pre-order now and then upgrade to, or upgrade to later. Sorry, not on Xbox One, you can't pre-order, I don't think. So you can upgrade to it later on. The West Somerset and Royal Sig North will be coming out. I don't have dates for them. The plan is to, as you see stuff coming out on PC, then I guess unless otherwise stated, you should expect to see it on the consoles at some point. Once we get the console releases out of the way, then we can start looking at what we need to do to get the DLC working. Console's a new platform for us, so we want to make sure we get it right, get you guys the right experience.
There we go.
Boom.
Only 8 minutes late.
Any Virgin Trains? No, I don't have any update on the new Waterloo route. How does time change work in the game? It's real time, and yes, it does. It changes from night to day in real time. So you know, I've done a scenario where it started off sort of early dusk or late evening, and it's sort of been generally still a light sky, but 2 hours later I'm going through the mountains and it's pitch black. So not only that, I think that winter, and that was a great run. It was indeed a great run, as you can tell.
That was a fantastic great run.
And so the day and night progresses in real time. Same is true in Train Sim World.
Yeah, that was a great run, as you can tell by the negative 25,400 score.
Yep. So nicely done. So anyway, that pretty much winds us up on the end of this, I think. Just congratulations to Luke on.
Well, you know what? I actually quite enjoyed that one.
It was good. It's such a good. It's a fun unit to drive, isn't it?
I was struggling an awful lot with the wheel slip on the wet rails there, but yeah, I quite enjoyed that. It took a little while to get used to the new loco there, but
yeah. True King Chief. So what you want to be looking at is Train Sim World. That's the redeveloped game, which has got the Unreal Engine 4 graphics. This is a long-standing game that's got a lot of content and a lot of different experiences. But if you're looking for the latest and greatest graphics, then it's Train Sim World you're probably looking for. If you look back at the beginning of the VOD for this stream, then you'll be able to see we streamed some of that as well, and we have done in the past. So, quick reminder, Train Sim World. What? Quick reminder, Steam Summer Sale.
Yes. Steam Summer Sale ends on Thursday, so you haven't got much time left. Train Sim World is currently 77% off. That gets you Train Sim World CSX Heavy Haul on the PC. And Train Simulator 2018, the base game, is currently 50% off. With that, you get the Talent 2, the North Wales coastal route, the Mitten Waldbarn, the Peninsula Corridor.
There you go. So, yeah, that's TS18. And then there's some DLCs for Train Sim World. I think everything except West Somerset Railway is on discount.
Absolutely.
So, and lots of DLCs for TS18 are on
Lots of
discount as
DLCs
well.
are currently on discount. In fact, I do believe Woodhead is currently on discount as well.
There you go. So this is a really good time. You've got until Thursday, I think it is, when the
Thursday,
Steam summer sale ends. So make sure that you take advantage, have another last look through what's on offer, and fill ye boots.
Mm-hmm. Also, of course, a lot of people really enjoyed the screenshot contest last week. We loved seeing some of the screenshots that were sent in to us on that one. We are going to have another one this week. Pretty much the same deal. It's going to start on lunchtime Tuesday. Cool. So the theme for this week's screenshot contest is going to be passenger services.
Oh, so there you go. Terms and details and all the rest of it, all the specifics will be in the forum post when Luke posts it up. Absolutely. So hang fire until that happens, just so that you make sure you've got the right rules. Because some of them might be a bit different to last week's one. So just look forward to seeing everything everyone puts together. I know looking at last week's entries was really good. Get yourself signed up on the forum as well, on trainsimworld.com's forum, because then you'll be able, even if you don't want to submit a screenshot, you can look at everybody else's screenshots and upvote your favourites.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we are working on upvotes, so the screenshot at the end of the week that gets the most upvotes is declared the winner. So far, the winner gets bragging rights.
Bragging rights, which is important.
And we'll be showing it off on the stream and on social media.
Cool.
So that's the plan.
So, Steam Summer Sale, screenshot competition, Royal League North coming soon, and more details on that in the coming time. And don't forget to get signed up on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, and get your Dovetail Live account, get all sorted. And I think that's it, isn't it?
That's pretty much it, yeah.
Okay. In that case, we'll let you have the rest of your evening to yourself, and we'll sign off here. Thank you very, very much for watching on Twitch, Mixer, and Steam. It's been a pleasure. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any feedback on the streams, do let us know. Mm-hmm. We'll catch you next time. Next stream
will be the last Friday of the month. We streamed today because I'm not here next Friday, so we got it in today. And also, of course, the Steam Summer Sale finishes before Friday, so that's why we're streaming today. Okay, so the next one will be the end of the Friday at the end of the month. Okay, all right, folks. See you later. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye. Cheerio.